Hey everybody, welcome to this week's edition of the Bug Scope. This is ISSA, your host, and I'm excited to have joining me today David Howden, who is an amateur entomologist over in the UK. And he's
Hello.
hi David, welcome to the broadcast. How are you doing today
Yeah, I'm good. Good. Yes,
or
just
this evening for you?
this evening. Yes, yes. Just back. This is my second virtual event of the evening. We were one of the charities I run was doing one of their virtual talks. So I've had an hour's interesting talk about conservation in Australia just before this.
Wow, nice. Cool. You've been all over the world with participating and viewing um,
Yeah.
talks of entomological nature. So this week with ECN as well, earlier this
Yes.
week, or the Entomological Collections Network. Um, yeah, it's I feel weird right now because I'm like leaning down into the frame because I made sure there's a lot of space in front of me for the opening of the various entomological gear that we're about to explore. So, um, yeah. Was this is your second time joining for the Entomological Collection Network?
Yes, I came on last year's. Point, was it worth you just briefly telling people what it is for people who haven't
Yeah,
encountered it before?
sure. Yeah. What do you want to share what it is? Or
So, well, yeah, so it's a what as it, in the way that as the name suggests, it's a network for people who mainly for people who work in entomological collections. But with from
right.
last year when it went virtual, people like me who don't work in the collections, who do this stuff just for fun, have been able to come along and see all the things that people like ISSA do in their day job. And
Yeah.
I found it really fascinating. It was really interesting to see, some of the stuff people do on outreach. I found really interesting.
Oh
And
yeah.
ISSA did a broadcast on that.
Hmm.
And some of the stuff people were doing about weird tips for making things work in their collections was
Yeah,
uh,
it's fun
was very
because
entertaining.
there's only so many like collection professionals and amateurs and hobbyists and all of that in the world. There's a lot of like jerry rigging or a lot of tinkering here and there to make different things work
Mm,
for collections when it comes to transporting things. For example, um, uh, in that tips and tricks symposium that David's talking about, there was mention of using IKEA bags to hold 4 large insect specimen
mm,
boxes. And my coworker, Greg Cowper at the Academy of Natural Sciences, was talking about how he discovered that the food, uh, the racks for cafeteria trays and pans, he spotted that one time when walking by the cafe at the museum and was like, wait a second. And then he tested out one of our insect drawers or insect boxes and found that it fit those pan racks, those oven pan racks perfectly. And so we adopted a bunch in the entomology department. So it was really interesting to hear the random ticks and tricks and electric candle warmers. I don't really even know what an electric candle warmer is used for, to tell the
no,
truth.
no,
Do you know?
I was intrigued by that one because I mean I know what they use it for. They use it for warming the chemicals they use when doing dissections, but
Yeah,
didn't really understand what a candle warmer would be. I mean, don't candles get warm
me
when you?
too. Yeah, I didn't understand that one at all. Is anyone here viewing the broadcast? Hello, Peter. Hello, Anya and Matthew and David Dunn and Frank. If any of you know what a electric candle warmer is used for, then please enlighten us because that has me totally puzzled. But in this tricks and tips symposium, um, maybe we next year we'll call it tricks and treats for entomologists, being so close to Halloween. um, yeah, someone like brought up using this electric candle warmer for helping for KOH, and which is a chemical used for clearing the dissected genitalia of insect
Mm,
specimens for identification purposes to make it easier. So
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't do much dissection myself. In fact, I do virtually none. I've had a couple of goes at it, and my hand too lumpy to make a good job of it, I think. But that stuff's quite nasty if you get it on your skin. So you want to you want to warm it with something that won't boil it, I guess.
Mhm. Totally. Um, yeah. I've done a little bit of dissection, but not I've only dissected it for someone else to do the rest of the process, really. Um, but yeah. So, um, I have this big box whee, that I got
Exciting.
um, because this is with the trip coming up, which hopefully will come up soon with my Fulbright National Geographic Storytelling Fellowship. I'll be doing insect collecting and sorting and exploring in Indonesian Borneo. So I did a big, like $300 order of equipment from BioEquip to start gathering the materials that I'll need when I finally make it over there. Um, so Oh, Sebastian. Hi. Sebastian says if you got an electric aspirator in there, I'm gonna get super jealous. I'm just gonna give you an invite in case you want to hop on the screen as well, Sebastian, because I think I did get one. So I haven't checked. I ordered this like at the end of August, I think, or the beginning of September. And so I kind of forget what was in the order because it's been a hectic fall. And I figured, you know what? I'm not gonna refresh my mental list of what's in here before the broadcast because it'll be more fun as a surprise for everybody. But I think I did order an
Should,
electric aspirator. I ordered a
should
couple of
ask
different,
people.
like a what?
You should ask people to guess what they are as you get them out. See if people can work out
Yeah.
what they are.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. Guessing game. All right. And I think some of what I ordered didn't get in because of backlogs from, I guess, COVID. So I'm trying to back up so I'm in the screen more. Okay. I'm also opening this upside down, I think, but oh. My cat will like this box. Happy Black Cat Appreciation Day to everybody. All right.
Need some scissors.
Yeah, I need some scissors. Do I have scissors
There's
around
probably some
here?
in the box.
Yeah, yeah. That's definitely a tool that we need. There. Oh, no wonder. There's metal staples right in that corner. Okay, cool. So, woo, lots of paper. All right. I'll go with some of the obvious things first. And you guys can probably guess what all these are for. If you can see it, if it's not what whited out.
Why don't you make yourself the biggest image on the screen,
Oh, good idea.
or the only image so people can.
I'll do this. How's that? Cool. So here's the first item,
I bet
which,
people can tell what they are. Go on, stick your guesses in.
yeah, a lot of those. This is the more straightforward stuff.
Yeah. Now they're plastic or are they
These are
plastic
plastic.
ones? Right.
These are plastic.
Yeah. I do find
Mason jars.
when you're doing Lepidoptera, which is the main thing I do, sometimes the plastic ones get a bit staticky and get covered in scales.
Ooh.
You can always tell an entomologist, a Lepidoptera specimens of any insect because every insect has scales after I've put them in one of my pots.
Oh no. Better than like the gunk that comes out of the mouths of grasshoppers and such. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the size of analog film rolls. Yeah. They're that shape. These ones I think are a bit larger than um film. I think a little on the larger side, but definitely close to it. Oops. Which camera am I using here? I think it's just tilted. Okay. Not really focusing, sorry. Oh, they're two different sizes, right. Two different sizes, one larger, one smaller. Different size bugs. And these are the same, just like a bunch of plastic collection vials. I'm definitely someone who like very mindful of the environment. I really don't like to buy new plastic, but in this case, I don't have any to start with, so I will try to make these last as long as possible. And of course, glass has the risk of breaking in the field, and it's heavier and such. So they look longer. Yeah, these ones are skinnier and longer. I don't think I expected them to be quite this skinny and long, but they will work well for my purposes, I think, because one thing I can do too when capturing things is put like a little bit of, these are called, I believe that these are called falcon tubes. There, focus. There we go. These are called falcon tubes, and sometimes you can layer things in there. So if you put one thing in there, you can put some cotton or paper in between to section it off, almost like the way that what's it called? Solitary bees partition off their nests in the ground. So these will all be very light and easy to transport, no risk of breaking, and if they break, it's not shattered glass, so that's helpful. Yeah, I don't know why they're called falcon tubes, but yeah. Here's the next thing that I got, which is pretty straightforward also. I just don't have a lot of these yet, so I thought I'd order one to see what it's like. And only for very small falcons, says Frank. These falcon tubes. Yep. Gotta shrink them first with the shrinking device, which is coming soon. So yeah, this is for specimens and potentially field pinning specimens. If I get
Mm,
some specimens that I pin, and then I want to quickly just do a rough, like, pull the wings out and
mm,
um, pin them, or just when I get back from being out in the field, if I want to do it back at the field station, I can do that with this simple and very transportable light foam um, collection box. Which, in contrast, like, I'll definitely be bringing one of these wooden ones with me potentially. I don't
mm,
know if I'd need it, but we'll see. Maybe one will be good to have on hand. Um, but yeah, this is a
mm.
little heavier. This one's a little more like, it's set up differently and not as adjustable as this. Because with this one, I can like twist this bottom knob to widen and also shrink the center according to the
Mm.
body size of the insect. Um, that's the convenience of this, but good to have both.
One of the other things I've noticed with when you were showing, um, sorry, spreading insects, you call them, setting we call it, so
Uh-huh.
just to be annoying, is that the boards you use are slightly angled up,
Yes.
whereas the ones I've got, and most of the ones I've seen sold here are
Uh,
horizontal,
oh,
so
just
that
flat.
there's no
Interesting.
slope on them. Yeah, well,
Yeah, I don't know like what the significance, like, if I don't think it makes a big difference, but yeah, just maybe style preferences. So, um, all right, here's one that's more confusing or less straightforward. And I just wanted to acknowledge also Sebastian's comment saying, I've used falcon tubes for collecting before. They are okay, but I like the visibility of the three acrylic ones better. Yeah, that makes sense. I agree. All right, here's the next one. This is a fun one and something I've never, the thing is I've never done such like an order from BioQuip or any other entomological supplier if they're before, because I've always pretty much been in association with my university or with the Academy of Natural Sciences and gotten my supplies just for work and through there. But since I'm kind of branching off now, I was like, all right, it's time to get my own gear. All right, this one I give up on tying that knot.
Sebastian knows what it is.
Yep. Oh, and the trip, it's still up in the air. Like, Indonesia has not yet been like, all right, we are processing research permits. So just hanging tight, hoping for late winter slash the spring, early spring. So yeah, here's the next one. And the answer is in the chat already. This is one that I could definitely probably have made on my own, I guess, but maybe next time. And the price was fine. Yes. So this is, as Sebastian said in the chat, and um, it is, well, I'll give a moment for anyone who's not here in the chat who is on replay or something and wants to guess. I can't get far enough away from the camera for this. I'll have to go into a big room next time and stand far away. Oops. So, I'll wait to put the other corner on just because I don't want to want to make sure I do this right and not rushed. Because I don't want to tear it. Maybe there's a trick to getting that final corner on. Okay, but this is called a beat sheet. And this is one of those sheets that an entomologist will hold out underneath a surface like a bush or a tree. And we'll take a stick or a rod and knock at the tree branches and knock the bugs down onto the surface to collect them. Yeah.
The entomologists of old just used to hold an umbrella upside down.
Yeah, that's an entomologist. Sorry, an umbrella might even be easier than this because it collapses so easily. But it'll be good to have both. Yeah, I'll practice with this. But yeah, we have an old umbrella in the collection at the Academy of Natural Sciences that was used for this. Yeah, I'll finish putting this on later. But yeah, here's a beat sheet. Good for getting stink bugs and weevils and caterpillars and all sorts of different things. Cool. They also had the option to get a cotton one, but I thought that the cotton would be, and I like that idea because once again, it's like a natural material, not plastic. But in this case, I was like, cotton, like this thin kind of kite-like material is going to be a lot easier to manage and clean and dry off in Borneo. So went with that one. Yep. Okay. Interesting. Here's the next container. And this has a bunch of different things in it. I was like, huh, this looks like a gift bag that's all saran wrapped or something. Okay. Open it. All right, I do need a knife or something. I'll just stab with a pencil. Okay.
Exciting, this one.
This looks like an early
Yeah,
Christmas.
it looks like an early Christmas, Pablo. Well, see, entomologists have their Christmas at Halloween, so
Here we go. Yeah.
we don't really.
This is how yeah, scary for the bugs for us to get these things, perhaps, but it's just to protect them in the long run. Okay. I got these because why not? Safety glow sticks for the field. Yeah, in case I need to find somebody or who knows what. All right, what's this? Oh, I think this is a piece of nuts. Oh, hold on. Too many different things to pick up. All right, here's one that I got. This has a cool container color. Focus camera.
It's very purple.
There
Can
we
we
go.
read it?
Can you read it? Yeah. Try to turn it. It's ammonium carbonate. Are you familiar with that, David?
Don't think that's one I've used. No, I
Yeah.
can't immediately think what you'd use that for.
Yeah. So I'm not familiar. I've never used this before, but this is an agent that can be used to, in a very light way, cause the insects to expire when you capture them. If you just add water to the jar, it creates a collection jar.
Okay. So
And it's, yeah.
because I tend to use ethyl acetate,
Mm.
or
That's
what's
what
that?
I'm used
It's
to
got
using
similar
too.
names. Yeah.
Yeah, ethyl acetate, which you can find, for example, like when when I need to get some and I'm not like near the museum or something, I'll use, for example, nail polisher, the non-acetone nail polisher. Focus. Okay. yeah, like this, because it has something that's very close to ethyl acetate,
Yeah.
which in the ingredients they call it, um, where is it? Oh, they have methyl acetate, so it works very similarly. But
Yeah.
this is nice because you can carry it around dry,
Mm,
and then you just add water, and then it becomes
mm.
the lethal agent that you need for collection. So it's good for
Is it
traveling to remote places.
is it a particularly harmful one? Is it particularly poisonous if you
Um,
inhale it yourself?
I don't. I'm not 100% sure to tell the truth. Um,
Okay.
but I can let you know later when
Well,
I
don't
become
go
more
revealing
familiar
it to
with it.
find out from. Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause I mean,
I can talk
very few
to.
people use very few people use cyanide anymore because it's quite nasty. Uh,
Mm,
but that we use the traditional killing jar was a cyanide jar.
I have used cyanide
I've
before.
right. I've got a wonderful
Um,
child's guide to entomology from back end of the 19th century. It says something along the lines of, "You can get your cyanide jar charged at any chemist. You might have to take an adult along the first time you go to buy cyanide."
yep, probably a good
I mean,
idea for kids.
these days, I think the police would probably come and see me if I tried to buy cyanide. But there we go.
Yep, yeah, yeah. The good thing about cyanide kill jars, though, is that they do last a long time when you charge them. Ethyl acetate needs a decent amount of recharging. Okay, here's the next part. It actually says what it is basically on the label. So I'll hold these up. But the tricky thing is the label is curved, so I have to turn them. Hold on. Okay. It's hard to know, try to turn them. The depth of field is not deep enough for this camera, is it? Um, Let me try to switching to my computer camera for a little while to make it. All right. Oops. One moment. Not as clear, but the depth of field I think will be easier to manage. Um, so this is an insect adhesive, repair adhesive, which I don't know if that I'll bring this to Borneo with me, especially if I don't know if I'd be allowed to because it looks like it's flammable. Hence the little flame signal on the side. But I wanted to give it a try. And then I also have this shellac gel, which is an insect product made by a Homopteran shellac. Also used a lot in making bangles in India and other products around the world. This is another thing that can be used for specimen pointing and mounting specimens, sort of like a glue, an insect glue, because you can use ethanol, I think it is, to melt it to reposition if
Mm.
necessary. It's not permanent. That's an important thing when using adhesives with entomology. So, yeah. Shellac. Oops. All right. Next are these, which are pretty straightforward too, I think.
Says exactly
Mm,
what they are on it.
yep. Insect pins, two different
Um,
sizes.
one
Size
of the
zero.
talks at the conference Issa and I were talking about earlier was some people have been doing a bit of research on working out which are the best pins to use for entomology. I don't think they've quite reached a conclusion yet, but I think we're all looking forward to finding the answer to that one.
Yep. Yeah. It looks like, yeah, the tests they've done so far are like bending them. And soon they're going to do tests on the different insect pins for corrosion, which I'm looking forward to the corrosion one because that one is an issue when you're using, especially when you're using ones that are not stainless steel, for example.
Mm,
It can be a disaster because then that little handle that you're relying on for the insect, here's just another visual for insect pins, then that handle that you use to move the insect around is broken. So it's really important that it stays and it maintains its rigor. All right, here's another item, which is probably a little more mysterious for people not in the entomology world, but I can do a demo or assemble it to
Yeah,
sort of show
you
what
show people
happens.
what that is. Let people guess what it is, or guess what it's for
Yeah,
if you can't guess what it's.
yeah,
Because I suspect if anybody guesses the name, I will be surprised.
yeah, good idea. We'll let them guess what it's for. I like kind of, oh, here, this needs to turn around. Uh,
I mean, so far it looks like drug taking paraphernalia, but
it does, like this.
David's going for the technical name.
And we definitely could be used that way, David. But it is a rubber hose thingy. That's part of it. Um, all right. I'll pretend that you guys are a bug. All right, ready? A little tiny bug. Caught you. Now, if you were a tiny bug, you would be in here now. Um, Snorkel. Yeah, it is. It could be used as a snorkel in emergency swarm situations. You put the swarm comes by and you hold this up. Yes, exact. Ding, ding, ding. It is to suck a bug into a jar. So there are a lot of insects that are really, really tiny and really fast too. And so sometimes the easiest thing to do to catch them is to just hold this up, and basically it's like a bug vac, and you suck them up into this chamber here. And because if you use forceps or your fingers, you might risk breaking the insect, for example, if it's so tiny. Or if you catch it in a regular net, maybe it would get smushed when something else bumps into it. So this is a nice way to really target like the one or two or few insect, tiny little, not baby, but tiny insects that you're trying to capture. Very
Hmm.
precise for inflating caterpillars. um,
No,
I
there is a way of doing that though.
bet you if you added a extension to this that made it like a, no, more fine point, then it could be used for that purpose, for that
Hmm?
practice. Yeah,
Yeah.
the one thing when using these is you want to be careful about stink bugs or any other insect that might emit
Hmm.
noxious chemicals. Um, I mean, a large stink
Yeah.
bug's not going to fit in here, but
Yeah.
um,
Don't suck things up off dung using it either. That's the other
ooh,
tip.
yeah, yes, because you are the person who's operating it, so you're going to breathe in
Yeah.
whatever volatiles are going into this container. Physical debris will
Mm.
get filtered because there's a filter at the bottom of this, but
Yeah.
not, yeah, the vapors. Okay, so there's also a bunch more sizes of these files. I just got a bunch of different sizes because that can be super helpful. Um, and then, oh, I also got this thing. I forgot. I think I know what it's for. Can you change the filter? Oh, so, okay. It's not like a complicated filter. It's more just like mesh. So,
Mm.
um, I don't know. So I don't think you'd like really need to clean it. I'm trying to look at it too. It's extremely fine too. Like I can't even imagine. Like I can't. Yeah, it's a very fine mesh thing. It's not like a water filter or something that needs to be cleaned for effectiveness. Um, New toys. Hello, John. How are you? Yes, entomological toys. Yeah. So this is also for the aspirator,
Mm.
and I guess I should have waited to have people guess, but I'm pretty sure this goes into here. And then I won't put it in all the way right now, but like this. And then this part goes onto the tube. And then if I don't want to use my mouth and my own um,
Mm.
diaphragm muscle power, I can use my hand pump,
Mm.
and
So
you hear that? And suck up a bug
mhm.
this way.
So do you guys call those things pooters sometimes, the
Yeah,
aspirators?
yeah,
Pooters.
aspirator
Which
or pooter. I
which
don't
for years
remember
I
where
thought poot
that comes from.
it's a name apparently. I always for
Okay.
years I thought, "Oh, it must poot must be an old word for suck up or something. It must, but apparently no, it was just a Mr. Pooter invented it.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, it does sound like you like, yeah, pucker your lip, and maybe that could be where it came from or something like that. But okay. And then here are among the last things that we have today here. Um, these actually I've never gotten square ones before, but I know that you know what this is, David.
These are basically we're papering. It's a way of preserving particularly lep specimens in the field.
Yeah.
Um,
Oops.
or
Oh,
apparently crane flies. If you want to
yeah.
not have their legs fall off, you paper them straight away. I've never been brave enough to try and preserve a crane fly.
Yeah,
They fall
it's
apart as soon as you
daunting.
look at them.
Yep. Survival strategies. Yep. Um, yeah, so I got a bunch of different sizes of these for the different size leps that are out in the woods. I might want to get a couple larger ones too. Um, so and then the last thing, aside from more, yeah, I think I just have more of these in here. That's all that's left in the box. Oh, and my order slip. Yeah, I think I did order a electric one, but I did not get that in this order because it's back ordered. So okay. But the other thing, oh, I got two sizes also. I forgot about that. Two sizes of pooters. So one for a friend and one for me to go out and collect. Um, and then the other thing, this is one of the more expensive things actually too. This all of these things add up. Most of them just add up as you tack them on. But this one was one of the more pricey things, which is entomological forceps. Yeah, these ones are very precise. And we'll probably use this underneath the scope sometime soon on the bug scope. There's definitely been many times in the past during the bug scope and I'm like, "Ah, like these forceps are too big. Like I can't even move what we're trying to look at right here because the pin or the um the pencil or whatever I'm using to poke around the bug we're looking at is just so tiny. So these are really tiny and have very fine tips that maybe can help us out in those situations underneath the scope. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm excited to have these. I'll probably like tie a piece of bright like neon um tape or something to it because I think these are like $25 and these are super easy to drop and lose because they're shiny, they're silver. Like if I have them out in the field or something and they drop, it's like I'm never gonna find them in the leaf litter unless I
Mhm.
make them bright. So that's the plan. I also what I didn't get in this order because I already have a pair are soft forceps, which I love using them in entomology collection as well because um, they're just they're very forgiving when working with specimens. Yeah, versus harder forceps, which you can definitely like accidentally put apply too much pressure. You can
Mm.
definitely apply too much pressure and like break something by accident with hard forceps. So.
I think I'll have to look at them
uh,
because yes, I have certainly broken the odd specimen by just being a bit rough. So soft forceps, that's on my
Yeah,
list to look
soft
up.
forceps. I thought I had mine around here somewhere, but for the purpose, I'm not sure where they are exactly right now. But yeah, soft forceps. What was I gonna say? I also got this box for I don't know for containing insects because it's like
Mm.
a very nice clear plexiglass box that I might even use for holding specimens in temporarily to show you guys here on the bug scope. Um, so very simple, but also very practical and will come in handy. I'll probably, like, get a container for it too so it doesn't get scratched. Oh, Frank, you can pick up single atoms with those forceps. Yeah. Um, John Kenneth is asking if I saw the video that you tagged me in of your uncle spider doing something weird. I'm not sure that I saw it. What platform was it on? And tag me again, and I'll take a look after this broadcast. If it's on my radar. Um, yeah. Wait, it's a wait. What's a shiny type of paper? I got lost. Oh, this maybe. I don't
Yes.
know. Anyway, so that's the end of our. We got everything out of the bag. Let me double check. This was the last thing. Yep, lots of paper. Maybe I can use some of these things to make Halloween decorations or give the box to a neighborhood kid to enjoy. Um, but yeah, what kind of magnifying glasses are useful when on a field trip? Yeah. Do you use magnifying glasses when you're in the field, David?
Uh, I do. I usually take a hand lens with me, and if it's an insect that's behaving, it's sometimes almost easier to just take a photograph and blow the photograph up on the camera, on the back of the camera. But I always
Yeah.
try to have a hand lens out with me.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, sometimes taking a picture can do the trick. Sometimes, yeah, using my clip-on macro lens for my phone, that can do the trick too.
Yeah.
Otherwise, do I haven't used it recently, but I do have like a little tiny hand lens that I wear around
Mm,
my neck when in
mm.
the field.
Or
And
the
you can
real
get
for to go on.
you can get those from BioQuip or other places online too, and they really range in price as well. I kind of think they're similar to the forceps in that way, where that you can get ones that are like $10. You can get ones that are like way more have more like glass technology or precision or something like that that makes them more intense and adds more clarity and magnification. So yeah.
If you're a bird or you go out with binoculars, if you use your binoculars upside down, so you look through the big
Mm,
lens into opposite backwards basically, that will be a magnifying lens as well. So if you're in a real
oh, nice.
push and you're wearing a pair of binoculars, long way around, stare down there, and terribly narrow field of vision, but you can usually get stuff focused.
Cool. Yeah, that's a good magnification hack. Let's see. Yeah, I have to find mine for going to Borneo. I just haven't used it for a while because I guess like these days I just catch something and look at it magnified later when I get back from the field. That's
Mm,
what happens for me, I think. How long did it take to get the order? It took a while, but I think, like I said, because of a mix of COVID and also um, the company's going through this company specifically, BioQuip, is going through a transition right now where they're looking to sell the company because the owners are retiring. So they are uh, they'll hopefully find someone to continue the business because a lot of collections here in the US like really turn to BioQuip for uh, the equipment and the resources that they offer. So I'm trying to think of when I placed my order. It doesn't say on here. Don't quite remember, but oh, was it 9/28? Maybe September. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Where's my phone? Don't know where I put my phone either. Yeah. Uh, John's asking. Yeah, I'm happy to take a look at the spider to give. Always fun to get those mysteries. John's asking, is there any seasonal insects? Wait, season insects. You looking at them now is getting. Wait, sorry. Is there any seasonal insects where it's too cold for them? Is that your question? Um, the yeah, it's definitely getting cold right now. Now is the time where things are dying out or moving or getting into
Mm,
position because winter is around the corner. So, for
mm,
example, around this time is when a lot of people see the praying mantises in the area and they're like, "Oh, like I found this praying mantis. Like, how long is it gonna live?" Or like different questions like that. And I'm just like, it's not gonna live for that much longer because they die out in the fall after they lay their eggs
mm,
and they overwinter in egg form. So, for example, my mom
mm.
actually found a praying mantis in the house a couple of days ago and she was asking what to do. And I was like, oh, like you could put it outside or you could keep it inside and maybe it'll lay some eggs on a branch and then it'll probably just pass away and I can add it to the collection. Um, so, and then yeah, the monarchs are flying south, and so there's a lot of
Mm.
shifting around occurring now. So it's exciting because of that, but it's also sad to me because I'm like, no, I want
Mm.
them to be out, and summer would happen too fast. Yeah.
There's
How is that
certainly
going?
less about in winter, but
Yeah.
I mean, there will be stuff on the wing. Certainly where I am, there's stuff on the wing all through winter, but not not in the same volumes and not in the same diversity of species.
hmm are there certain insects that you look forward to seeing in the winter, David?
Uh, yeah, so I always like a December moth, which is a species of moth. Let me put the scientific name if I can find it into the chat
Okay,
because I
sure.
can't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah, sure.
But they're rather attractive, um,
hmm
and always look a bit like they're sort of well black and white and furry, which is what you'd want to be for
Yeah,
living in winter.
in the winter.
Um, oops, what's just happened there? That's gone a bit
Poecilocantha
bizarre.
papuli.
Yes.
It's
So
a fun scientific name.
yes, and I always like to see them in winter because they are, well, as the name suggests, the December moth. They come out in the winter months as an adult.
Oh, cool.
Um, and I think the idea is what they do is they do their adult living in the winter months to get their eggs laid, so the caterpillars can get the first juicy, fresh emerging leaves and chomp them, and also
Nice.
probably do that before too many birds are on the wing to eat the caterpillars.
hmm Do they, like, do you usually just see them flying on the odd sunny days of winter? Or is it?
I tend to get them to light traps is one of the main ways I survey. So we run these light boxes with light bulbs on in places, and moths fly to light, as I suspect people know, and that's the way I get them. I've occasionally found them by the day, but they are a night flying species, so
Oh,
pretty much you
wow.
you go out with torches at night, or you go out with bright lights, and yeah.
That's really impressive. Have I'm guessing there must be, like, studies on them to see how how they're so tough and able to handle the cold. It's not even that they fly right during the daytime, but at nighttime when it's even colder in the
Yeah,
winter. That's
I mean, it does tend
very
to be the
surprising.
warmer winter nights that the things are
Okay,
out. So
okay.
and Britain is not too cold. I mean, it would be an exceptional winter, certainly in the south of the country, where a whole week would go by where it doesn't get above freezing some nights.
Mm, okay. Actually, that reminds me a bit too of the winter crane fly, which doesn't fly, but it's wingless, and even though it's a winter insect, it's on the warmer days of the winter that they will be active. That's one
Mm.
cute fuzzy moth. I want to see it. I'm gonna look it up.
See if I've got a. Let me
Mhm.
see if I've got a. This
Oh
this
yes, we
could
have a
be a
photo.
push. Let me try and do a screen share. And let's see if that
Please, yeah.
works. This may be beyond what I
Okay.
can do with apps these days.
Well, give it a go.
I press the button,
hmm It's
and
coming
then
up,
if I
it looks
do
like.
that and I do that, can now see that. So is that now showing?
Yeah, it's a little pixely for me, but maybe it's still loading or
Yeah,
something.
I've not got brilliant image quality, so internet
Oh, okay.
connection quality. So it may gradually improve.
I hope so.
This is I paused this one on some nice ice. It wasn't sitting on the ice on its own. I just thought that would be a nice winter picture.
Oh,
But
yeah.
maybe it's. maybe it's not. David's found a helpful Wikipedia link for if my connection doesn't improve.
Okay, sounds good. Um, yeah, that doesn't seem to be improving for me,
Nah,
but
nah. Okay, let me
oh
let me
well.
stop that. There we go.
Okay, cool.
Well, anyway, David's provided a link for everybody, so if you have a look at that, um,
Yeah, thanks for sharing the link too, and thanks for attempting to share the picture as well,
yeah,
David. Um,
yes,
cool.
I've gone pixely as well, so it's obviously having problems.
Oh, to if John's still here, to answer your question about my trip, it's still paused because of COVID. So, I mean, it's not like paused, but it's still nothing's changed, I guess, is the easiest way to say it. I will definitely let everybody know. I'll have a broadcast dedicated to it when the time comes that I have that things have changed and I've been able to move forward with it. So, but yeah, right now, hanging tight. You're here, still here. Awesome. Hi. Yeah. Guest sometimes guest chairs get pixelated. Oh, it's a thing. Has it been reported to the team? Yeah, Borneo. Yeah. And also, as a reminder, too, when I do go to Borneo, the first 3 months are going to be intensive language study. So I won't be going into the forest like right away. It'll be actually, I think it'll be nice this way too because it'll be easing into it. And just being in the
Mm.
country is going to be really exciting entomologically as it is, let alone going to the spot in Borneo. So yeah. Um, so yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so now that I have this equipment stuff, I'm gonna get familiar with it, test it out, see how it fits my fancy, and then figure out what I need to order that's different or additionally. For example, I think I'm gonna want to get some larger envelopes as well. And but I think I'm pretty set when it comes to these sorts of containers because they're not when I capture the insects, they're not gonna stay in here like the whole time. They'll eventually go into the collection and these will be emptied and reused. So I know one thing I will be doing with them too. When I was in Borneo last time, I hosted with the local village an insect scavenger hunt with the kids, and that was a lot of fun. And we distributed a bunch of containers for collecting, and the kids all ran out and found like the bug with the longest antenna, the fuzziest bug, and then like a bug of each color of the rainbow, and different things like that. And it was a lot of fun. And some of those kids were really, really brave in catching different wasps and things like that as well. But yeah, uh, in the meantime, as Frank is commenting down there, I will look at city bugs around Atlanta,
Mm.
Philadelphia, New Jersey, and I think those are the places that I'll be mostly sticking around the next few months. So, um, oh, and those Hemiluca Maya moths that I talked about last week, they will be emerging in Georgia, the state of Georgia, in like a week, couple weeks. And so I'm going to do a second round of trying to look for them down here as well. So that's one thing that's
Excellent.
fun about bumping up and down the coasts laterally at a time like the fall. Yeah, equals bugs who have a job at the office.
Yeah. City bugs.
Redefining. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me about how like urban entomology traditionally refers to pest control, but I think that's starting to change. At least I hope it does, because
Mm.
there's a lot more than just pests that live in the city.
There's a growing interest in sort of urban ecology and understanding the sort of the natural history, if you want, of the human environments that we've created
Hmm.
because they're huge areas. Well, I'm going to a conference about it on Saturday, so that'll be that.
Oh, you are? What's the
We've got
conference?
The London Recorders Day, so it's about various projects gathering and processing data in London.
That's
Um,
really awesome.
so yeah, so at the Natural History Museum with an online bit so people can attend in other ways.
Hmm.
I'll stick a link in the chat. I think you've got about 2 hours left if anybody wants to book a virtual ticket.
Nice. Send me a link
Um,
just in case. Yeah. Um, they yeah, it's a big topic, urban insects in the city and urban entomology, because the urban environment is a habitat that humans are creating that is one of the most
mm,
rapidly growing habitats in the world. So we may as well understand what's ecologically happening in the cities.
mm.
I'll share that on the screen too for anyone who's watching not on Hats.
And certainly for some of the insects, the the urban environments tend to provide quite a lot of that sort of bare ground habitat. So for things that like to bask and warm up or need that habitat that's not densely vegetated,
Hmm,
oddly, some of your urban and particularly sort of urban, almost slightly derelict areas can be really rather interesting.
yeah. It's also interesting how, excuse me, how food preferences of different insects change in the city because, for example, carbohydrates are really easy to find. That's like a lot of what
Mm,
people drop when it comes to snacks and things like that. But meat, protein, or animal meat is much more tricky. And so,
mm,
one really interesting study that seen at talks in the past, having tested preferences of ants in the more rural areas and in the city, and they found that the ants in the cities really were looking to get, yeah, protein versus like uh, carbohydrates or lipids, maybe. Yeah, because they got enough lipids and other things from human food. Um, John Kenneth is asking, was there anything you said, no way I am handling, even though the kids collected them? One of the wasps I would have been very hesitant to collect that they collected because it was very big, and I'd been stung by a wasp in Borneo. That was one of the worst stinging experiences of my life because it just hurt so much. And so they were very brave to just catch it. And I was like, all
mm.
right, fearless kids. Woo!
So, of course, the challenge with kids is they don't always get it right. So a teacher friend of mine was doing something very like this. Go out and find some insects, and one of them came up to a really proud, massive smiley face. Miss, I found a really big hairy caterpillar, and he held up
Hmm.
a dog poo that had got mold growing on it.
Oh no.
She didn't want to handle that one.
Yeah.
But,
Yikes.
he thought, "Well, it's long, it's thin, it's hairy. You've shown me what caterpillars look like. I found one."
Yeah. Well, a learning experience. Find those things. And sometimes also like sometimes things aren't always what they appear in general. When it looks like this reminds me of when I saw dog vomit, the dog vomit fungus. I first
The
thought
slime
someone had
mold.
thrown up. Yeah, and then I was like, wait a second, I actually think I've heard of this before. And yeah, let me bring it up. Dog vomit. It was actually in a spot where like someone's dog totally could have thrown up right there because um I'll share a link to see a picture of it in the chat because it was, like, just right in a parking lot on one of the, like, island areas of the parking lot
Yeah.
that just didn't have a lot of nature in general. Wow, this is a super long link because it's Google Images, but there we go.
I'm gonna follow that as well. Can I follow that? Right.
Thanks for the haps hug, David Dunn.
Yeah. So that's. I mean, it's interesting because that is. Oh, we get the same species,
Oh,
Septica, I think it is, in the UK as
nice.
well, and in Europe. So it's clearly pretty well distributed around the world.
Yeah.
You've been stung by a wasp. Yeah, I've been stung by wasps several times, David. They come and they come and visit my moth traps sometimes and eat my
Ooh.
moths. And then
Oh,
if you
no.
if you're not careful putting your hand in the box and pick out a box or something with a wasp on it, it objects quite strongly. I mean, fortunately, I'm not allergic. It just hurts. But
Yeah. Um, what happened when you were a kid and got stung, David Dunn? Fungi. Fungi are amazing. Yeah, I found that weird one um that you were helping me to try to identify, David, and
mm,
it was it's,
well,
I hope to find like the proper ID or have some mycologist be like, yes, it is this one
I
because
find fungi very. Although that dog's vomit fungus isn't a fungus.
oh, what is it? Oh, it's a
It's a
mold.
slime
Wait, sorry,
mold.
it's a
Yeah,
oh,
slime
okay,
mold.
okay.
Mixomycetes, or there's another. The taxonomy of slime molds is confusing, I find. But
Wait, so
yes,
what's the
they're a
kingdom?
completely different. Hmm?
What's the kingdom they're in?
Though I think it's Mixomycetes. I think they are a
Oh,
kingdom of
okay,
their
okay,
own, or that. But
okay.
there seem to be two names for. Let me see if I can see if I can
Wait,
find.
look at. Hmm.
Yeah, they
It's kind of confusing too, because I was just I looked at it on Wikipedia, but Wikipedia just goes right from phylum to domain, skipping the kingdom.
yeah. Yeah, I think they may have changed. Oh yeah, it's Mixo Gastria sometimes they get called instead. It's
Oh, okay.
rather
Maybe,
weird.
maybe Wikipedia thought it was just simpler to not include a kingdom because
Well, they were thought to be part of the fungal kingdom, but I think that yes. So I'm looking at Wikipedia as well. Not forming a single monophyletic clade, they are grouped in the paraphyletic group referred to as the kingdom Protista. There we go.
oh,
Complicated
okay.
stuff. They're one of those
Huh,
things that we thought was a group and isn't. I think is the short version of that, isn't it?
I see. Cool. Weird. Even weirder and more mysterious now because it's not even a fungus and it's a whole other group
No,
that I just don't understand. But
no,
um,
it's not a group I've done much other than found the odd one and thought, wow, they look really weird.
mhm. Yeah. So said, David Dunn said, I picked it up by the wings as a 5 or 6 year old. It hurt and my finger got swollen. I'm not allergic though. So curious little David picked up an interesting insect and
Yeah.
learned not to do it again with things that look like that wasp. um, mm, all right. Oh, I'm sorry that it hurt. I think I teared up a bunch and got sad and angry when I got stung that time in Borneo because it was dark and there were mosquitoes and I was all alone in the dark by the laundry line and the wasp stung me and it wasn't even like defending its young or like a nest or anything like that. So I was just angry that it didn't that there was no like clear reason for it to do that. So David Dunn says I'll stick with picking up praying mantises. Cheers. Yeah. I have been grabbed by a praying mantis, but I think they're pretty similar to cats in that like my cat will grab me too and it'll sting and poke a little bit, but um it's not like a venomous attack. Wait, what are you referring to, Frankman, by saying aren't these moving around? Do you know, David?
No, I don't. Unless was he referring to the slime molds? I've read things about them being able to
Oh,
solve mazes and do all
oh,
sorts of weird things,
like moving
and have
around
these
things?
things that have they have
Mm.
weird life stages. Yeah, they have weird life stages where they can move around, and then they have the fruiting body
Oh,
stage, which is the thing that that the link showed. It's
oh, interesting.
they're, yeah. Every time I read about them, I think these are just really weird things.
Yeah. Aliens. Ah! I mean, this is what I feel like an alien would be like. Like something we it wouldn't be like a human. We're so human-centric to think that
Mm,
aliens would be like a human being or like close to a mammal
yeah.
being or something like that. Like, why wouldn't it be a lump of slime moldy stuff or something like that?
Yeah.
um, yes, I've gotten grabbed by a hungry or angry praying mantis before with their front legs, but then I just kind of like peel their arms off of my finger or whatever it is. And I've also gotten a haircut by a praying mantis too. Because sometimes when they're just like on my shoulder or something, so I'm handling it. Like there was one time I just heard this like I can't even make the sound, but like a, and I looked over and it was like biting through my hair with its mouth. I don't know why. Maybe the protein in hair. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I did not want a haircut, so I just moved it away and gave it some food and such. Yeah. Oh yeah, maybe it was trying to pick me up. Testing its own strength. All about perspective here. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been pierced by a stag beetle before. So we have,
Ooh.
well, a couple of species of stag beetle in Britain, and we had one at some event. I was showing some children this, it's got these big jaws, so they were all saying, "Oh, that's dangerous." Oh no, no, I can't, they're not strong enough to get through your skin. I'll show you. Yeah, that was
Uh-oh.
wrong. I mean, they won't in a state of nature. It's only if you pick up and stick your finger in the jaws. They're not going to come and bite you. But
Yeah.
yes, that
Were you there when
that
someone at
managed to get
EC
through my.
David, were you there at ECN when someone was talking about how they were bit by a Dobson fly and it hurt, surprisingly?
No, I think I missed that one.
Okay. Yeah. Tommy, the collection manager in Illinois, was saying how one time he was bit by a male Dobson fly. They have these big, like, for everyone else, they have these big mandibles that just don't seem functional at all. And they pretty much mostly are not, but I guess it's one of those things where right angle slash time and place, it can give a little bit of a jab. Yeah. Um, John Kenneth says aliens wouldn't even need oxygen like the bacteria and shrimp near underwater volcanic vents. Yeah, I mean it's hard to like it's hard to imagine what an alien could possibly be like.
Yeah,
I
there'll be.
I believe in aliens though. I believe that like in all the time there's been that's been allowed in the universe and all the
Mm,
celestial bodies and things like that. Like it must have occurred somewhere else too. Life must have struck up elsewhere. I just
you
have no
you would think
idea.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well, David Dunn might know. David's a
Bring him
professor of
and
astronomy,
Deanna up
so
here.
he
Yep.
David will if David probably knows where the aliens are. He's just keeping it secret. It's a big conspiracy.
Ooh. Yep. Yep. I, I'm sending him an invite in case he wants to speak for himself. Yeah. Oh, Frank is saying, put me in a collection tube. The
Yeah.
praying mantis. Yep. Role reversal. Shares David Dunn's
Yeah.
response on
Well, there's a
screen.
quote. I can't remember which scientist it was, but he said something along the lines of, "Alien life, when we find it, will not only be stranger than we imagine, but stranger than we can imagine."
Yeah, I think that
Can't remember who that was now. It might be Feynman,
uh,
some
that sounds.
famous physicist anyway.
Yeah, I mean that's why I love bugs and nature and discovering what is on this planet because it's just one of those things where like we don't know what we don't know and we can only really imagine stuff that we know. So um, oh, we have David with us. Hello.
Hello there.
Hello, David.
Hi.
Hello.
Now we got,
How's it?
of course, got famous alien right here, right? Basically,
Ah, very good.
there's the doctor.
Oh, and that's
Excellent.
travel help. The doctor
Yeah,
is
so
here.
combination. You got Peanuts, right? Lucy's psychiatrist booth. and then Doctor Who, the Matt Smith Doctor specifically.
Oh yeah,
Hairs
yeah,
on his
yeah.
head.
I recognize it now.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
I like Doctor Who. I've watched most of the episodes.
Yeah.
I guess as a
What are the-
science lover, science fiction lover, life on other worlds is, I'm very open to it. Getting it to happen is an interesting thing, whether it's, something that's common, but then getting it to, let's say, if you will, our standards where we have advanced life. I mean, not just humans, but other animals might be a little trickier. It might take too many more steps to finally get there. So Earth apparently got life, as soon as it was able to. Basically, with finally Earth cooled off, it was be able to get life. But to get us right, what the Cambrian explosion happened, 400 million, 500 million years ago. So it took a while before finally bigger life developed. So you got to have a pretty stable environment to do that. So I definitely believe life is out there. I mean, it's simple to get bacteria and so forth, but getting another ISSA Betancourt in the alternate universe might be tougher.
I wonder
Yeah,
if
because
any, I was just gonna say, I wonder
So
if
go on,
any
Lisa.
like astronomers or whoever or space people have like thought about or wanted to just like send out like capsules of bacteria into the world for the chance of it landing on other planets or something like that, and maybe like creating like colonizing basically sending out bacteria to colonize other planets or something
other
like that.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Throw the tardigrades out, right? They can survive.
exactly.
They'll do everything.
Yep,
But
send
what
them
one
for us.
suggestion is that life on Earth may have arrived because it sort of turned up as soon as it could. So what one suggestion is that life evolved elsewhere where it had more time and just was blowing through the universe, and as soon as it landed on our planet and was okay, it had to go. I don't think that's a dominant theory these days, but
yeah, the stars with a short lifetime certainly or you kind of ignore, but fortunately most stars have a long lifetime, actually longer than the suns. Or the little dwarf red stars, but those have a little problem because you have to have your planets kind of close to the star because it's cooler. And red stars have notoriously have really tough childhoods. They flare off. They get temper tantrums and these flares going off, and that could be a problem with life surviving. Now, there's also ideas because most of these worlds get so close to a star, they have one face toward the star, and the other face is always at nighttime, tidally locked like our moon is to the Earth. And so maybe there's a way of having life at the terminator, at the day-night line. Maybe there was ways of doing that or whatever. If life can develop on the far side, away from the sun, of course, it's protected from any flares because it's not being. So anyway, a lot of different possibilities, but definitely in different environments, you have completely different environments. And you kind of start with the star like a sun because we kind of know, okay, that worked. So start with the sun-like star. There's still a fair percentage of stars like that, and then see if you can get planets in the habitable zone or wherever that is, and go from there. So, but that's understandable. You want to start where you know. So I guess for actually interesting, we're going to be talking about that. Are you going to be part of that, ISSA, that aliens?
Oh, the silicon
Wednesday?
life. When is it again?
Other forms of life. I can't remember the exact
On
name.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't really planning on joining because I don't really know like how to contribute to that conversation so
Well,
much other than just
I mean, you got insects on your mind, so
imagine.
I mean, there's again kind of next step up. Right? It's not bacteria, but it's not a goat. That might
Yeah.
be life to develop. As you know, it's like the dominant species of the planet. So,
Yeah.
so
That's I guess I could speak on that. Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe I'll jump in for a bit and be like, yeah, bugs are on every trophic level and blah blah blah.
I mean, yeah. Where could they survive? I mean, if you set them someplace, could they survive? Type of thing.
Yeah.
In our solar
Yeah,
system, I'm not sure.
that's
So
a fun thing to think about. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'm not.
I hadn't thought about it so much, but
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to say
um
other than the Horta, silicon-based life. We'll talk about that too and how it might survive and so forth. But yeah, it's
yeah.
kind of so.
Maybe I'll have to brush up on that because I'm not like familiar on that topic at
Yeah,
all,
yeah.
even basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My colleague is the one that teaches astrobiology at our school, so I know a little bit from him, but he's the expert. So, was trying to get to the messages here, but I can't seem to do it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, let's see. What was it called there? What do you want to call it? So, no, I don't know. Just life in other worlds, I guess, or different types of life or something. I don't remember. Anyway. Yeah.
Are you guys participating in the Haps Halloween thing tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be on somebody's show from 12 to 4 or whatever.
Nice.
I don't think I am. I'm trying to remember when it is. I'm not sure I can't remember if it's a convenient time. Obviously,
I feel like they said that
I'm
you
working during the day, and then
yeah, it's 8 o'clock. It starts at 8 o'clock at night, your time, I think. So
that's not too bad. I might pop along then.
yeah. And then I think tonight Ian is on Hap Stars tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that Carrie Long does. So
yeah, hopefully I'll make it on there someday.
you
Carrie
should.
invited,
Yeah, you should.
Carrie invited me, but it was just like, I feel bad because I was like, maybe I'll be able to do this day, and then it's just been a really chaotic like last several months with moving and
Yeah,
like
I
filling in
understand.
the gap between just all the uncertainty and stuff that I've been like, maybe I can do it this week. Oh, actually, I can't. I'm sorry. And then,
Are you settling in yet?
yeah, I mean, the thing is that earlier in October, I was also like in Philadelphia, and so doing a lot of family things and slash just a lot of moving around. But I think things are chiller now, so maybe I'll get back in touch with her to let her know.
Yeah,
So.
no, that'd be fantastic. It's good. You have so much to offer.
Thanks. Yeah, it'll be fun.
And even the point, because I know, because I talked to Carrie about. I watch you, and she's definitely afraid of bugs. Maybe the stereotypical girl, bugs, type of bugs thing. And it's so nice that you're completely opposite.
Oh yeah.
It's good. I know bugs are our friends. I don't have to like run away from all the bugs, and all that. I like that. So. And those beetles you showed too, the ones with shells look really beautiful too. They're artistically cool. So, and the other guy, Chris Burke, who's currently the co-host, it depends. He sort of changes, but he's an artist. So yeah, Half Stars, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Usually it's been, well, she's changed her co-hosts a few times, but currently I think it's an artist, more of an artist guy. So
okay.
There's great beauty in those beetle shells. So
cool. Yeah, maybe I'll get some pictures to bring up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I think you have a few.
Cool. Yeah, I don't have as much like readily on hand when it comes to live things because, for example, I brought up my tarantulas to Philadelphia to leave them with family and friends in preparation for the trip, for the fellowship. So they're not here in Georgia with me anymore, so that's sad. But but gotta get prepared. So.
Yeah.
So maybe Carrie will be happy about that because it means that I won't be able to be like, here's saffron, like right in the middle of the screen.
Well, I think. But
I know it can be fun too.
Having a bug crawl on your face is good. That the cockroach especially, because that's not my favorite bug. It's got too much of a bad reputation.
Yeah.
Horrible reputation.
The poor roaches.
Yeah.
They're just like 12, I don't know, like a dozen species that give the rest of them a bad reputation. You've heard my spiel about it. So.
Doesn't that all?
Well, I found my first cockroach in Britain last weekend. We don't have many species. Yeah, wild one, not and as far as we're not one of the pest ones. But there's been 2 or 3 new species that have colonized are starting to spread recently, which look really similar to ones you can identify. So I'm in touch with someone who does cockroaches, who will hopefully tell me what it is rather than help me do it.
Oh, great.
But yeah, we don't get many of them apart from the occasional pest outbreak, I find. So.
What was it doing when you found it? Out of curiosity.
It was scurrying up the wall of the place where I store my moth traps.
Oh, okay.
And because I don't see them very often, it didn't immediately have a sort of an image to say, oh well, that's a cockroach. When you see an insect, you tend to be able to say, oh, well, I know what order that is.
Yeah.
So this is just weird. Is it a Tetraptera of some kind? It's got So, being an entomologist, whipped out a pot like the ones you were unpacking earlier and potted it up so it didn't get away.
Is that what you
Um,
call these containers? Pots?
I call them pots. What do you call
Oh,
them?
cool. Vial.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's
Well,
cool to know the
vials, fair
difference.
enough.
Yeah. Does Ashley Whiffen call them pots too?
Pots. Okay.
I'm
I
curious.
don't know.
I'll have
It
to
might be
ask.
it might be an amateur thing. We don't use the proper terms. We
Yeah,
we just
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
they're
call.
proper in your world, so that's
Yeah.
valid, I'd say. It's cool. I like that.
But it,
I like the diversity of it. Yeah, it's fun.
it is interesting. I mean, as I said earlier, you call putting the butterfly specimen or specimens out. What do you call it?
Oh,
You
spreading?
call it
Spreading
spreading,
board?
and we call it
Mhm.
setting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Which just weird. Well, it's the thing. In America and Britain are two countries divided by a common language.
Yeah, totally. Um, yeah,
And
I would
don't
use the
admit
word
it, but I think
setting.
you guys have got it better. I think you guys make better use of the language quite often. But don't tell anyone in
Interesting.
my
I
country I
know.
said that.
All right.
Well,
I
thank
won't
you.
tell anybody.
There's some differences.
Yeah,
It's all just different way of looking at
yeah.
things. Just like gasoline and petrol, right? Gas is just short for gasoline, and petrol is short for petroleum. It's just whatever you chose to abbreviate. Don't know why it ended up
Yeah,
that way. It's out of spite. I don't know. We'll call it something different.
yeah.
I'm getting
Yeah.
rid of the U and flavor and color and all that just to spite you.
Well,
I
no, I
do.
think oddly we put that in. That was a Victorian affectation.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
if you go back to when the first wave of European immigration was going to America, you just kept the spelling. And
Okay.
lots of the weird stuff we do that you guys don't do in America is stuff that the Victorians introduced because they wanted language to look
Oh,
like it was obeying certain logical rules or to be more Latin.
okay.
We're dangerously turning this into etymology rather than entomology, by the way.
Wrong channel here.
Gonna confuse people. Help continue the confusion about it and mix-ups. But I do wonder, to continue on that line, about if any like linguists have, just for fun, because I think it'd be an interesting project to do, like kind of like made uh, like took all the best words, whatever best means, from all the
Mm.
languages to make a language, like just using words from all the languages. And kind of in a way they did that with not really, but they kind of did that with minions in Despicable Me, right? The
Yeah, yeah,
minions
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah,
Or in
because
a
they speak like 5 or 7 different languages. And I only found that out because they speak Bahasa Indonesian, and I was like, wait a second, they just said like
yeah,
thank you in Indonesian.
yeah.
What?
Combine
Terima
several
kasih.
languages. Yeah, yeah.
Yep, terima kasih. And I was like, wait a second. And then I looked into it and I was like, that's so cool how they did that with those characters. But yeah, but like what I mean is like I hear the word, like we say pineapple for pineapple, but I just love saying piña instead. Like I'd rather say piña, which is the Spanish word for pineapple, than pineapple because it's more
Okay.
concise and just like I just like the way it's said. So be
Yeah.
interesting to like have a vote on the word, and like take it from every single language, and people can vote on which one they like to say the most, and just what would that sound like, I guess. Yeah. I guess I could, like, that could be realistic if you just chose a sentence and then you made that drop down menu and went to people who are bilingual around the world, and like we're like, which one do you like better? And gave them the choices of the ones that they know and kind of narrow it down that way.
Well, that's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, here, John Kenneth is saying fish and chips in UK or fish and fries, I suppose, in the US. We do call them fish and chips here, but
Yeah,
only for that dish.
right. It's for fish and chips, exactly. Places is right. Even though it's French fries, even though we know it's French fries. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And it
Uh,
still confuses me when I see that actually. I'm like, I don't want chips with my fish.
yeah. Well,
I
you
have
went
to
crisps
remember that.
instead.
Yeah.
Crisps instead of chips, right? Potato chips are crisps in Britain. So,
Yeah.
and I'm just now fuzzy here. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Yeah, one project that I've been curious to do that I have not done yet in the world, but like one day, I like started it a little bit, but then never just, got too busy. But I made a slideshow, and then I had some of the visiting researchers, entomologists at the academy, like go through and say in their native language, like what they call that insect.
Ah,
Okay.
Because like the literal translations are different from across
Mm.
different languages. Like for example, we call dragonflies dragonflies in the USA, but other places they're not called that literal, like
mhm.
a dragonfly. Yeah, I forget what some other ones are too,
Yeah. Well,
but
the pill bug or whatever has a whole bunch of different names, even across the United States.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And then what do people call it in other languages? Yeah, I don't even know.
And then that, yeah, that
But,
too. Add that.
yeah, and then like in the US, gnats for the little flies,
Okay.
and in Brazil, it seems like they call them all like mosquitoes. All little flies are their equivalent of mosquito or something like that. Is something that I picked up on, which was funny. But
Interesting. Huh.
yeah. Um,
What's the most extreme difference you've come across? What difference in what?
Well, in the
yeah,
meaning of in what the names of the insects meant.
oh,
What was the one where it was just so just such different concepts they focused on.
yeah. I don't think I have an answer for that right now, unfortunately. I think that the mosquito one really surprised me though, because there's so many tiny little like things that fly that are black that like are not mosquitoes. So to call them all
Mm.
the equivalent of mosquito is a really big generalization, which is interesting. Yeah, culturally interesting. I mean, here's one that is really interesting from Indonesia, and this is kind of a different topic, but still similar. Ilmu means magic, and it also means science in the Indonesian language. And I'm just like, what?
What's it? Who is it?
Mind-boggling to me.
Who is it? Who's the guy who
So,
said that magic is just technology that's understood or something like that? Some author.
yeah.
No, it was Arthur C. Clarke's
Arthur C. Clarke, yeah.
law. Well, yeah, was any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Yeah,
And the corollary is any technology distinguishable from magic is insufficiently advanced.
yeah.
I like that. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because I mean, I felt like my computer was just a big like black box of magic until I went in with my uncle and he helped me fix the screen one time. And I was like, wow, like I actually understand a little bit of what's going on now. It's not as like just like mysterious anymore. And also, for example, like the aurora borealis, it looks so magical and just
Mhm.
like I can understand why. I mean, I don't know what people thought back in the day of it, or like ancient people's thought, but I could totally imagine attributing it to some greater being or God or
Mhm.
other entity. It's just it is magical to look at when you don't understand it. Yeah.
You seen it, Issa?
No, not yet. One
Okay.
day. But even just seeing like Christians imagery,
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah.
stunning.
I managed to see
Yeah.
a couple. Well, I've seen probably 3 times. Once in Iowa, but at the tail end of a pretty good one, and then twice in California actually.
Oh
2002,
wow.
2003. And
That
then just
low
a
latitude.
little bit when I flew to well, it was Venice eventually, but in Frankfurt on my flight, you get far enough north and you look out the window. If you're on the north side, you can see aurora on the horizon. I mean, just a little bit. That's not totally surprising,
Uh,
but actually on the ground, then California was really surprising. But it's kind of cool. So, but I just
yeah,
see a
that
really good
seems
one. Yeah, like the one in Lapland or the one in or Iceland, or whatever, somewhere where it's covering the skies as opposed to just being north.
mm,
That'd be really kind of cool. And
yeah.
unfortunately, on your trip, you're going the wrong way. I guess you're going right on the equator, right?
Yeah.
That's far away to get from it.
Yes.
Is
Was
it
it?
in the South Pole too?
Yeah.
In
There's
Antarctica?
Yeah.
Australis as well. Yeah, there is.
Uh-huh.
But
Oh,
actually,
cool.
there's the land where people live doesn't go as far. There isn't as much habited land that far
Right.
south as there is that far north. So
Right.
you don't.
Yeah, unless you want to go to Antarctica,
So,
then it's fine.
Yeah,
so people
yeah,
don't like capture as much footage of it because of that.
Antarctica is where you want to go. I mean, that's the place where
yeah.
people can actually stand. Yeah, he's right. There isn't really Australia and South America don't quite go far south enough,
Hmm.
but Antarctica is right there. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the southern tip of South America?
I mean, that's pretty far south. That's what as far south as southern
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah, I should know.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But they're just
One
much
of
less, they're much less habited, one of those words,
right,
than the equivalent northern latitudes.
right.
It's
Yeah. What
certainly well,
yeah,
not
one of the
massive cities, because go on.
sorry. Yeah, one of the attendees at the meeting, Entomology Collections Network meeting, he's a collection guy at the southern tip of Argentina. So
Tierra del
right,
Fuego.
Yeah,
I wonder if he sees them much. He was saying that their summer, if you can call it a summer, is in November, but it can still
mm,
snow during that time. And I was just like, wow, I can't imagine living in a place like that. I like the
yeah.
heat.
Brings out the
I,
insect. What you like to eat.
I don't know. I could see myself living somewhere like that. But weirdly, if you do insects, you don't find as many. I mean, it's
Right.
you want to be somewhere warm for finding insects. But actually, I really like frozen
Mm,
habitats.
nice.
Mm.
Yeah. It's definitely very tranquil in many ways. I do appreciate that part. Yeah.
Yeah, Tierra del Fuego, which is pretty far, not the very tip, but close to it. I mean, it's got a latitude of 54 south. So that's
Mm.
Scotland. That's equivalent to Northern England,
Oh,
really.
okay.
So really not
Yeah,
that far or close to the pole. So
yeah.
Mhm.
So they should get. I mean, they should get auroras there, and a big aurora event. You get. Well, they have been seen right the way down the south coast of
yeah, yeah,
England,
yeah,
so you
yeah.
can further than that. But the Scottish cities get them moderately frequently, or those latitudes get them moderately frequently.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I suspect Tierra del Fuego will as well.
Hmm.
So if you were
Mm.
in Antarctica, ISSA, could you look for insects? Would it just be futile or just forget it? There's no way, nothing there.
I would go after the largest. I'd take my hunting supplies, like my aspirator. Where is it? And
Go.
go after the largest land and go head off after the largest animal on Antarctica and try to catch it and bring it
Hmm.
down to the collection. And that is the Antarctica midge. There's a tiny little
Hmm.
midge fly, like this
Okay.
big maybe, that is wingless and lives down there. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's
So going to the coastlines, you're going to get a penguin. Is that it?
Well, the penguins don't live there all year, which is why this fly is
oh,
the fly's the only, I
right.
think, is the largest thing that lives there all year rather than just spend
Oh,
some time
really?
there.
Yeah, I think that the
Yeah.
penguins are considered marine mammals rather than terrestrial land mammals, I
Okay.
think, as well. I think that's part of the reason why. So these are just on the land. That's
Okay.
why they get the title. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Penguins are very strange.
they are.
Birds,
I was looking
birds
at
that
them.
swim and walk on land. So,
Yeah,
right?
I was watching them when I was in South Africa, and I was just like, wow, they totally look like a dog on its back two legs when they're running on the land. Like they just don't, they look out of their element when they're on the land. Because, yeah.
Hmm.
Let's see a picture. Oh, I don't have one running right now, but here's a picture of one of them. Yeah.
Do you know what species of penguin it is?
I forget, but it's a South African species.
Hmm.
Okay.
Um,
So not that far south. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
they are. Interesting. This says they
oh.
are called jackass penguins. That's what it says on
That's a good
Do you look
Wikipedia.
like a donkey? I don't. Are they just very
The
rude?
black-footed penguin is another name. No. That's a wait. No, yeah, that's another name. But Oh, it's called that because of the species loud donkey-like bray.
Really?
That's
Okay.
why.
Oh, wow.
That's really funny. Yeah, I don't remember hearing that so much, but hello, Ocelot. Welcome. Or Maya, welcome to the broadcast. We're talking about random things having to do with nature.
Yeah, we're seeing the insects grow quite large here.
Oh, yeah. Wait, did I get bleeped? Wait, you just got bleeped out in chat. LOL.
Possibly jackass, they decided was too offensive to be allowed to be said.
Yeah,
He's always swearing,
always. Look out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, darn. I wish I had one of the, yeah, pictures of it running because I did get that footage too, but I don't have it on hand. Oh, well. Yeah, it was funny coming across these in South Africa because like we found one and we're like, oh my gosh, like we're so lucky. We found this one penguin on the beach and the rest of the beach is completely empty. And like I bet you no one else is finding this one because it's hidden in the brush. Then we kept walking down the path and then there were just more and more and more. And we were like, oh, like they're everywhere, everywhere. And so it was funny just coming across it that way where we were like, oh, there's none except for this one. But yeah, they were just everywhere down at the tip of South Africa, and it was really fun to see them like running around, tending to babies, hopping in the water. It was like a penguin party. Yeah. Wait, when you say bleeped out in the chat, like the audio bleeped it out?
Yeah.
Is that what?
I think he's
Really?
on Facebook, so I wonder is Facebook suddenly taking online safety seriously and blipping out rude
Yeah,
words?
that's
Should we
really
say lots of rude
interesting.
words and see what happens?
Wow, that's really interesting, John. Thanks for telling that to us because otherwise we wouldn't have known that. And that's really
Yeah.
surprising to me as well because it's like very interesting. Yeah, no bleeps here on
Yeah.
Haps. Haps is the
Sounds like it's
raw,
the
unfiltered news.
sounds like it's the Facebook interface then, which is
Yeah.
I must admit, given some of the stuff Facebook does push into my feed, I'm surprised that that is offending it, but there you go.
Yeah. Since we're talking about um penguins, I feel like I need to share like I think there are some penguin lice out there, but let me see if I can find one. Just think it's worth mentioning with another animal on here that all different animals get affected by and
Yeah,
eaten by bugs and lice and ticks like us. So, wait,
there's
what?
an ad
Oh,
there
the
with
text.
running penguins there. Got that link.
Okay. Wait a second. Wait, I'm confused. What part of the text? John's saying no text was covered with
So
hashtag symbols. Are there captions or
yeah,
something?
they're auto captions. Facebook has the option of auto captioning. So
Oh, so you're looking
Ah,
at John, are you looking at the captions and that's where it was covered? Interesting.
how odd.
Right. What I do have to head off now, but this was fun. Thanks for joining,
the after
David and
party.
David.
No, this was fun,
Yeah, the
and
Bug Scope
yes,
after party.
yeah, but Bugs Club after party and ECN after party.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
So
true.
so what's
Yeah.
left to get? Issa, you said you didn't get everything in the package.
Oh yeah, I did not. I still have um so the funny thing is I don't even remember what these things are, but they told me that I have 3 more items here, number 1130 DP and 1131D and 8951B that I did not get yet. And I think 2 of them are different insect pin sizes, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. I will have to check my order because I do have the full order, including the names of what those numbers actually mean, I think, in my email. But I think one of them is an electric aspirator, like this, but electric. And yeah, so I probably won't do a full like bug scope on it because it's 3 items, but I'll mention it in a future scope when they finally arrive. But it said within 6 to 8 weeks or sooner. That's a pretty long time. So like in 2 months they'll get here.
They're stuck in a
So
shipping container in China, aren't they?
maybe.
That seems to be what happened with everything these days.
Oh, wait a second though. This did get here like I think I ordered it at the beginning of September or like, and this does have the date September 28th on it. So it could be like mid-November actually, or end of November because of the date
Okay.
here. And this has been at the house. This order has been at the house for like a couple weeks now since I was in Philadelphia. It arrived when I was not here. So yeah. Wait, where is the Suez Canal? Which one's that? Is that Panama? Which one's
No,
that?
it's
No.
I didn't think so. Where's that?
Egypt.
Egypt.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
But it's a
Yeah.
similar thing to the Panama Canal. It's a major route that these ships go through. And
Oh, is that
last
the one
year,
with the meme?
a ship got stuck in it.
Okay, that was the memed
Um,
one.
yes,
Got
so
it.
which
Okay.
for Europe, quite a lot of the goods that get shipped to Europe come through the Panama Canal. So it was starting to, on top of COVID-related delays and delays related to the B word that we don't mention, this ship getting stuck was starting to also cause delays in goods arriving in Britain. So it was an odd time.
Oh, okay. The one shipping container got stuck sideways. Yeah, actually, that picture meme thing. That's the one, right? The one where someone had like a small truck next to the big, or small
Yeah.
something next to the big ship. Yeah.
Well,
It
that's what
even made
I mean.
it.
That's what they did. They dug it out with the little, I mean, it wasn't a little
Wow.
digger. It was a
Right.
big excavation machine. It just shows you how big those boats
The
are.
boat.
And they had to
Uh-huh.
scrape enough of the earth away that he could reverse his, I suppose, presumably reverse boats. Get his boat turned round.
Uh-huh. Wow. Yeah, that even made it into one of the presentations at ECN,
Yeah,
I remember.
it was quite. It was all around the world. Your then president said he knew how to get it out.
Woo, that's right. Chris. Yeah. Yeah. Um anyway, yeah. Okay. Yeah, have to go
Okay.
get some dinner. But
Sounds
thanks
good.
guys for joining. It was a lot of
Thank you.
fun. I'll send
Yeah,
the
good for
penguin off
having a chat.
first. Bye,
Yeah.
penguin. Jumping back into the ocean.
There we go.
Um yeah. So yeah, have a great week. Thanks,
Okay.
David Dunn and David Howden for joining, and perhaps I'll see you. Have a great Halloween and have fun with the HAPS Halloween celebrations tomorrow. And
Okay.
yeah,
Sounds
cheers.
great. Thank you. You too. Take care.
Cheers all.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for joining today.